Hey, Tony Gas is here, popping in now. Got this question on the Instagram Q&A, and it said, "Why do men emotionally cheat?" And I answered it, and I said, basically, that's a why is water wet question. And the reason why I said that just because some of these things we can't really answer. Some of these things we don't really know because every man could have a different reason. And then also because I'm on Instagram Q&A, so it's a very limited space. But here are the top three main reasons. The top three. Now, of course, it's a lot that goes in there, but when I really analyze the behavior, from being a man who used to do that, from knowing men who do it, and just thinking from the male perspective, this is what I was able to come up with. And this may not make sense to women, but what I'm going to be doing on the channel is trying to really explain men more. And you have to take it in context because not every man is the same. Every man has a different background and bio, but when you look at it, if what I said fits that man, you'll be able to tell it. And some men it'll fit him and he will say it doesn't fit him because he doesn't want to be found out. And you just have to have the wisdom and discretion to understand that too. So when you look at this, what you have to realize that the number one reason is he's unfulfilled in his life. And what I mean by that is when a man does not have a sense of purpose, he does not have a sense of direction. So when he doesn't know why he's here, what he's doing, then he becomes a wanderer and he just goes here and there, to and fro. And one of the things that men use when we are lost, what we use as a guide or a barometer is a woman. So men without purpose, men without direction, men who lack that will fall into emotional cheating for comfort. It's almost like his form of therapy and or coaching or mentoring or whatever you call it, but it's comfort. As a grown man, he doesn't want to carry around his blankie or his stuffy that he had at 7 years old. Like my son has a room full of stuffed animals, and sometimes he has a couple of them up there in his bed. And I'm pretty sure if he gets scared, he probably grabs one. Or if he, is feeling cold that night, he probably grabs one and cuddles up and has little toys. As a grown man, you're not walking around with your plastic car, your plastic toys. So men use women for that consolation. And you have to understand that. And when you look at them, you'll kind of be able to tell and say, okay, I see. Now, the second reason it goes hand in hand with that is he's insecure in himself. So it's different than not knowing his purpose, but being insecure, a man can feel unattractive in one way or another. He can feel socially awkward or lame or overlooked. And there's different things that'll do this to a man. It could be his height, it could be his weight, it could be a bald head, if he doesn't really want a bald head, or if he started balding, really early as a teenager in his early 20s. Our we have hairlines receding, and so it's different things that cause it. Could be his teeth, it could be his income, it could be his race, his skin color. It's a lot that makes a man insecure in himself. And so he will do that just to get some feedback, just to see if he still has it, just to see if a woman thinks he's worthy, if a woman thinks he is something. And it's really just a dopamine hit. It's really just something to make him feel good about himself. And if he's in a relationship and he's not being praised, and what I mean by that is if he doesn't feel his woman is lusting after him or really into him, then he will go elsewhere to get that. And that doesn't mean that it's the woman's fault. It doesn't mean that if a woman does lust after him, he won't do it. But if he is trying to be a decent man and he's not being filled, he's that love tank, that love language isn't being spoken, the words of affirmation or whatever it may be, then he may go seek that out elsewhere. And it's not excusing the behavior, it's explaining the behavior. And the reason why that happens is not every man knows how to communicate. So a woman will hear that and say, oh, so you blaming a woman for not, sucking up to him or not doing this and that for him. No. Well, for one, yes, you should speak words of affirmation and you should praise your man and you should affirm your man. You should sweat your man. And he should do the same for you. Now, you shouldn't do it if he's not doing it. And if he's not bringing up a conversation, the woman should bring up a conversation. And so not every man knows how to communicate. So some men, instead of saying, hey, I need to be wanted, like I want to be wanted, I want to be spoken praise over, like I want to hear nice things. I want you to tell me that my outfit looks nice, or my haircut looks nice, or that I'm smart or handsome or what have you. Like I want to hear that. And it's never too much. And I think sometimes as human, we don't want to sweat each other because we like, oh, I don't want to blow their head up, or I don't want them looking down on me. And if that's the case, then you with the wrong person. You got the wrong person. The person doesn't have the character. That should make a person like you more and fall in love with you more, not look down on you and treat you bad. So you got to think about that. And that's why a man may go and do that. Now, the third reason would be he's not in love. And so there's a difference between love and in love. And it's exactly what you think it is. In love is deeper. In love is a real commitment. Because love can be shallow. So I can love this book. I can love this championship ring. I can love this hat. And when I say love, it means that if I lost this championship ring, I would be distraught. I would lose sleep. I wouldn't want to go anywhere. I would be extremely angry. I wouldn't want to talk. I can love that ring. It's different levels of love. It's not just one size fits all inclusive. Now, in love is a commitment. In love is a sacrifice. In love is to get over yourself, get over your ego, to put those things aside and to be in love. In love is totally different. And so when a man isn't in love, he can emotionally cheat with a woman. Because emotional cheating, it takes something out of you. It requires something. So in order to emotional cheat, you have to go beyond your conscience. Your conscience is saying to you, this isn't right. This doesn't feel right. Talking like this on the text message, flirting like this, looking like this, smiling like this feels wrong. And so in order to emotionally cheat, you have to ignore that and you have to go beyond that. So the only way you can really do that is if you aren't in love with the person you're with. If you're telling yourself, well, she's probably doing the same thing, or she's probably cheating on me, or she probably doesn't even like me. She doesn't even tell me I'm handsome. She doesn't even praise me. She doesn't even congratulate me. She's not even happy for me. She ignores me. She embarrasses me in front of her friends. She embarrasses me in front of my friends. She emasculates me. So a man has to give himself a reason to emotionally cheat, which then will lead to physical cheating. And he has to get beyond, he has to go past that barrier, that conscience barrier that is telling him this isn't right. So that is the third biggest reason why a man will emotionally cheat. Now, for some bonus reasons, one is being unlearned, just not knowing that it's wrong, meaning all he ever saw was unfaithful relationships, so it became the norm. So when he first saw it, he thought it was wrong. He was like, that can't be right. But then because every man he knows does it, it became the norm. And he's like, okay, this is just what relationships are. Like, men do it, women do it, everybody does it. And so just being unlearned, being ignorant. And contrary to popular belief, there are people like that. There are people who just don't know right from wrong. And how can you expect someone to know right from wrong if they've only seen wrong? It's just with anything in life. With anything in life, a lot of times you see kids in certain environments and they act a certain way, and it's because of their parents not being active, their parents not teaching them right from wrong, like them being raised, like a wild animal out in the jungle, and they just don't know. They don't have any etiquette at the dinner table, in conversation, in talking to people, because they're just not being raised. They're not being taught. And you get to know them and you talk to them, and it's like, wow, I can't even blame this person because of where they grew up and how they grew up. This is all he or she knows. And so that would be another, reason. Of course, another reason would be revenge. So if the woman has emotionally cheated or physically cheated and the man has stayed out of insecurity and low self-esteem, and he stayed, and then now he wants revenge, so he revenge cheats, emotionally cheats. Another reason would be to make a woman jealous, to get the woman to do more, to serve him more, to praise him more, which kind of ties in with what I mentioned earlier. But some men will use emotional cheating because he lacks the maturity and the confidence to express himself. So instead of just asking for what he needs and stating where he thinks the relationship should be and how a relationship should be, instead of doing that, he cheats emotionally on the text message, and he purposely gets caught. He purposely lets the woman catch him flirting or emotional cheating, because he knows with most humans, instead of a human leaving, the human will become insecure and start to work harder to compete with the other person. He knows that most women, instead of leaving for emotional cheating, she's going to get mad, she's going to pitch a fit, she's going to go off, but then at the same time, she's going to put out. She's going to do more. She's going to show up and show out, because she refuses to lose her half decent man, her potentially good man, to another woman, because this other woman is singing his praises and doing what she's not doing. And so she's going to step it up. So some men will use it as a manipulation tactic, which is very wrong, which is very immature, but it comes from his immaturity, his ignorance, and his inability, or him not having a desire to properly and effectively communicate. And so that has to be understood. Now, there's always a reason. And you have to understand that a reason is not an excuse. Just because there's a reason does not mean that's an excuse. That is an explanation. So it's not excusing the behavior in the sense of saying this behavior is okay. It's explaining why the behavior is happening so that you have a better understanding. So now you can get to the root of it and you can address it and you can call it out and say, hey, this is why this is happening. Now I know that. Let's work on this. And now you can begin to work through that. So, hey, stay tuned. I'm going to be shooting these videos when I can. If I may spend a whole 8-hour day, and I'm shoot these 15-minute videos just so the whole video could be watched and you could get through it and you could get the lesson. And I'll post these hopefully daily, and even on Sundays, Lord willing, in addition to my Sunday sermon. And if I get too many of them answered, then it may be multiple in a day. And then sometimes I'll do the hour teaching when I have time. But right now I don't have the time. Working on some projects, so I don't have the time. So forgive me for that. And then also the videos, I'm gonna be reaching different people with these videos. So all of them won't be my normal videos. I gotta show as a country black man that I also have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and ability to teach. Sometimes when you got the jokes in there and you got the country accent really on 100, somebody come across your video and they can't receive because they think you dumb. So understand that too. Just sometimes you got to play the game just to reach more people and to get the message across to help more people. So, hey, thank you. God bless you. We'll talk soon.